Welcome to Work the Left Side. We are here as North were back in Leeds last Friday, so obviously we were there. I am joined tonight by the awesomeness that is Mr. Ian Baker. Sir, are you good?
I am very good, thanks. My cat is also very good. I fear he will play a prominent role in tonight's recording.
This is good. More the merrier. We like our furry friends. Anybody who watches episodes will no doubt see various ones walking behind me all the time. I've just punched the Pac-Man arcade machine. I'm going to tell you what I'm talking about.
That thing's amazing.
Quality in it. Shout out to Mankind. Shout out to Jay as well, who purchased it for Jensen.
Yeah.
Looking awesome. But yeah, so North were back in Leeds. I missed the last show that was up because it was on a Sunday. And I remember sort of being like, please, if you come back again, please come back on a Friday. And they did. So obviously not at my behest, but obviously just because it probably made more sense to be here on a Friday.
I was the same. I said, please don't come back again on the same day as Planet. So they didn't.
There we go. They listen to the fans. That's what we love about them.
Yeah, that must be entirely what we said. That'll be the influence that we have.
That's it. You know, hey man, I was about to call ourselves YouTube influencer or something. I could stop myself. I can't even say it. I was like, no, mate, I can't say that. No, fetch me the news before I say that. But it was, as you would expect, an awesome show. They are back in April as well. So if you missed this one, obviously go get a ticket. Not before I've been able to get mine. I don't want them to sell out.
Yeah, hold off a little. Hold off till the end of the week so I can grab my tickets on payday.
Unless you want to buy us a ticket, and that's all right.
Down for that.
Exactly. Pay it forward. But yeah, obviously North, you know what to expect. They kind of announced all the matches before the show. You could see the talent that was on the card. I went into this show hyped. I was looking forward to it. Like I said, I didn't get to the last one because it was on a Sunday, but the one before that, I think it was in May last year. It was one of my favourite shows from last year. And it had a few of my favourite matches on it as well from last year. So yeah, it's North. There's going to be stories. There's going to be solid matches. It's going to be a great wrestling show.
Yeah, I've been saying for a while since I started getting more wrestling shows from slightly further afield on my social feeds. Like I'd say to the guys like the Cavs that I go to wrestling shows with a lot, like we need to get to these North shows because, look at these cards. They're amazing. And they don't disappoint when they come to Leeds. They don't half-ass it. They bring us what they give to their incredibly loyal and passionate Northeast fans. And we're lucky for that. I think, like you say, they brought everything. And not to jump too far in here, but like you say, they announced everything. We knew what the card was going to be. Apart from the opening match.
Yes, the impromptu
surprise match, the pre-drinks, pre-match.
What a match, though. I mean, if this could have been announced beforehand, this could have been a match that sold tickets.
I would have popped for that on a poster.
Yeah,
it was fantastic.
We are talking
about any day, absolutely any day. Sorry, we just jumped. I'm sorry, I'm jumping straight ahead. I'm excited.
Oh, dude, no, mate, no. Yeah, don't apologize.
Yeah, we hear that there's going to be this pre-show match that we're going to get that we don't really know anything about, and it hits. That music hits that first bar where you go like, oh, it's this Muppet. The best Muppet in all of sports entertainment. Cool guy, lots of friends, just brilliant. What an entertainer.
Slightly sunburnt, I would say.
Looking a little redder than usual.
Yeah, obviously against hometown boy, Billy O'Keefe. We got a great reaction. Hyped to see Billy, competing in a North ring. I know he's been in the Rumble, but this was I believe, if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments, but I believe this was his singles debut for North.
Wow.
Against Ian Skinner, it's craziness, man. This was just, and what a way to start the show as well. Like I say, it wasn't even an Everton's match.
Like you always say, Nick, to start off a show, get everyone going, clear heel, clear face, job done. And it just worked perfectly, didn't it? Even there might have been people that had never heard of Billy O'Keefe, You know what Ian Skinner is, and so you know this guy that's coming out is going to be much nicer than him. And you know, as a Black Heart guy as well, I love being able to cheer Billy, because by heck, I don't cheer him at Black Heart.
No. But we cheer him at True Grit. We cheer him at True Grit when he's on a show.
We cheer him at True Grit when he appears at True Grit, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, phenomenal, great stuff. By heck, Billy's bulked up a lot over the last year or so. I wouldn't envy anyone taking those chops at the best of times, but being sunburnt and from a much bigger Billy. Poor Ian.
You say poor Ian, he had it coming. They were justified chops, you know. But I think it was Dan. Shout out to Dan who got a reaction when he was like, "Billy, be easy, mate. He's got sunburn," and everybody just kind of stopped and turned around. I was like, "Oh!" But he was stopped in the ring and just kind of looked at him. It was like, "There we go."
Billy did not take it easy on him.
No, gosh, no. Billy bought it all. Billy does what Billy does. You know, he's the title standout is not a mantra. It's not something that says we say it as light of heart kind of thing. He is the standout. You know, Billy O'Keefe. Whenever he's on a show, whenever he's in the ring, he stands out. You know, you remember. You'll always end up talking about a Billy match after the show.
Yeah, and I felt he brought it as well. He knew that this was a bigger show. A bigger promotion, put the effort in, do it, and he really did. Those two work together fantastically.
I'd love to see this match back a few times. You know, I always kind of like, because again, it's sort of a lot of the promotions that we go to or that we sort of see, we don't get to sort of see a lot of repeat matches. It's kind of like I don't know if it's an unwritten thing, and no, you know, you have one match and then that's it kind of thing. For the most part, you don't generally get like a best of 2 or 3 series kind of thing, but I would definitely love if North want to put this back on.
I'm a fan of a program of watching two guys going back and forth.
Yeah.
And telling that story over a bit longer, you know, like, oh, he's never been able to get past the such and such a move. He's never worked out how to counter it, and
yes,
all of that. And you can tell those stories over a bit longer. And I think we're seeing that in just a couple of weeks, aren't we? At Redemption for True Grit, we'll see if Tony Wright's got the answer for Adam Bolt.
Yes, after 2 or 3 failed attempts. Well, 3 failed attempts previously. I think they've encountered each other. Yeah, they had the 2 singles and then the ladder match kind of thing. So, but yeah, that is a prime example. You know, that history's there. You don't really need to put much effort into it. So when you've got 2 guys as good as Billy O'Keefe and Ian Skinner, you get them a few matches back to back.
Absolutely,
it writes itself, kind of thing. You can kind of just trust those 2 to go out and do what they do, and they will tell that story, you know, in the ring.
I mean, you could easily trust someone like Ian Skinner with a microphone between matches.
Yeah,
easily. Just let him promo on him, and I mean, I'm sure Billy could hold his own coming back, but he wouldn't even have to.
No,
because Ian could tell that story, and we could have Billy just going like, you'll see my answer in the ring.
Yes, I'll let my wrestling do my talking kind of thing, which would fit, you know, perfectly. Yeah, you know, Ian is the gobshite, you know, and who does more of the talking outside of the ring. Can back it up in the ring though, just to clarify. But it would suit Billy. Yeah, exactly. So this was, like I say, man, we know we've just been waxing lyrical about this match, and this wasn't even an official match. It wasn't, you know, one of the 7 on the card. So we got this match out the way. Mr. Tom Campbell came out doing only what Mr. Tom Campbell can do. You know, he got the fans hyped up to the next level, ready for the show. If you can't tell, I love Mr. Tom Campbell. I just think he's an amazing human being, and I was hyped to see him in action as much as the wrestlers.
Did you see on Tom's socials? Sorry, Nick.
Yeah.
Did you see on Tom's socials? He mentioned a ring announcer that passed away from the States, and he had his picture in his pocket and said this one's for him. He put it was on his socials, and you could hear AC/DC playing in the back. It was before, just as we saw him coming out. That was him saying, you know, like this one's for you and stuff.
Wow.
So yeah, you know, you've shown me a lot of like the good stuff Tom Campbell does, and he's a man I've got a lot of time for. What a lovely guy. Yeah, great ring announcer, lovely man, fantastic.
Awesome human being. And then so he came out, you know, welcomed all the Yorkshire fans, thanked the Northerners for coming down into Yorkshire,
Yeah.
God's own
Because they bring a
country.
crowd.
Yeah, man, that's it. Yeah, North will do. They can come down. They could sell it out just from the Leeds fans alone, but they do bring their own audience with them as well. So it's a good mix. You kind of found that as the show was going on. Obviously, a lot of the North faithful had their guys that they're used to cheering or cheering on, and then the Leeds fans probably had a little bit more of a different take on things. So we were cheering other people, and it's kind of there was a very good back and forth with some of the chants. Which kind of added to it. I like that because it's kind of like, okay, you're. I say our turf. Obviously, anybody who knows me, I'm not a Leeds guy. I don't, you all know where I'm from. I'm not going to go into that, but it's like, I will say for the benefit of this show, you're on our turf. We're going to cheer.
You're a Leeds wrestling guy. You're a West Yorkshire wrestling guy.
There we go. We're going to cheer who we want to cheer. We're going to cheer our guys.
Yeah.
That's right. You cheer your guys. I think it was the Scotty Franco one, really, that kind of showcased that for me. So we'll get into that more when we get to that match kind of thing. But again, we're talking about this pre-show match. Again, just the core ingredient of heel versus face, clear-cut bad guy, clear-cut good guy. This show started with HMD versus man like Doris. Dude.
And I mean, Doris on fine form with that entrance. I went with my friend Jen, took her, it was her first wrestling show. And Doris came out and, we're singing about the Strombolies and things, whatever it says in that theme song. And I said, he usually like raps on his way out, and he didn't seem to for a while. And then he picked up the microphone and it all ran out. We were like, yep, here we go. Here's the full man like Doris experience, This is what the Americans have just been lapping up recently.
Yeah.
Has he been on TNA or Ring of Honor? I think he's been on, I can't remember which one he's been on, but he's been doing really well over there. He's been on TV in the States, hasn't he, on some of the big ones.
Yeah. And rightly so. Like I say, he's one of those guys that kind of making the most of seeing him while we can at the minute. Like we've been saying about Rhio for the last sort of few months, like make the most of him while you can kind of thing. While they're here, enjoy it, bask in it, and soak it all up kind of thing. And then, you had HMD in his pajamas, the fans chanting, you were just a shit Rob Beckett. And I was like, oh. It was just
HMD, just phenomenal, isn't he? Just what a talent. Knows his job, knows his wrestling, knows his character, knows who he is, and knows how to work a crowd. And I think also knows how to work his home crowd as well.
Yes.
It's that was always going to be. I mean, we'll say this about any match on this card, but it was always going to be a banger. Was this one?
Yes, because I mean, I can't remember. Was you at the show in May last year? Did you go to the May one last year?
I was at that first Leeds show. Yeah.
Yes, right. Because Doris had the match of the night for me on that show. It was him against Amir Jordan, and for me that was the match of the night kind of thing. So obviously, again, anytime Doris is in there, it's like, right, is he going to steal the show again? And again, everybody's got different sort of tastes. This could have been a lot of people's match of the night. It was that good. Obviously, everybody's got different things. I've got my own match of the night. Whatever anybody's is, rightly so. Every match deserves that title.
I don't think there's a match on this card where if someone said to me, "That's my match of the night," I'd go like, "Oh, really?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, I can see that." Might not agree, but I can see it.
Yes, that's it. There was 7 solid match of the night matches, dependent on your taste. But obviously HMD, like so I said, knowing his character so well, knowing his work so well, that he was technically the hometown boy, he still got the heel reaction over Doris kind of thing. He made sure we hated him. He made sure we wanted to see him get knocked the fuck out. Pardon my French. Which I know you appreciate HMD. You've sort of said he's amazing. HMD. Yeah,
love HMD, but I'm a massive Doris mark. I'm a Tidal guy. Doris loves coming to Tidal because it's Huddersfield, and he went to uni in Huddersfield, so he feels at home. He feels at home in West Yorkshire. I'll always pop for Doris. Fantastic guy, and the times I've spoken to him, I think it was For the Love of Wrestling a few years ago. I had a little chat with him, and he's just the loveliest man. You know, just so lovely, and so easy. You know, you look at how easy it is to get with someone's gimmick. I say 0-1, you say 2-1. All right, yeah, I know what to do now. Oh, yeah, okay, that's not complicated. I'm not confused here.
You join in. You're part of the crowd. You're part of the entrance. You feel involved. You feel appreciated.
Exactly. Is this your first ever wrestling show? We'll tell you what to do because I'm going to say this thing, then you say that thing. Like, all right, yeah, nice one, sweet. I'll get behind that.
Yeah.
And now I'm part of this crowd. I understand now. I get it. This is wrestling, sweet, nice one.
Perfect. That is the perfect, embodiment of, or description of how to get the fans over. Like I say, for somebody's first show, just that feeling of being like, oh shit, I'm involved. Oh, I like this. This is cool. I understand now why everybody's here. Yes. Sort of nail, hammer, head. Got it.
And then if you want to talk about in-ring performance, you know, HMD puts on a clinic every single time he's in the ring. And Doris, he can do everything from your fundamentals right up to the flashiest, biggest, explosive stuff. You're never not going to be entertained.
No.
You're always going to have a great time.
That's it. So that's how this show started. It could quite easily have been peaked. It could have peaked with that first match. You know, it was that good. But after that, we got the awesomeness that was Alfie and Dee Dee versus Alexis Falcon, who obviously anybody, all the True Grit fans out there, you know, that watch this on the back of all the stuff we talk about with True Grit, you know, Alexis Falcon, you know, she's True Grit champion. You know how amazing she is. You've all seen Alfie. On occasion, she needs to be at True Grit a hell of a lot more, in my opinion. But this match was just, it was amazing. Again, clear cut bad guy, clear cut good guy. You cannot help but
absolutely
love Alfie and Dee Dee. Alexis and Mickey, dude, it's nearly a tag team match.
I did kind of want them to say, to have sort of announcement and say like, this match is now a fatal 4-way or a tag team or tornado tag or something. That would have been great fun. There were people around me were really enjoying the 90s dance extravaganza because we went from, I can't remember who does Doris's intro music, but then we went straight onto the Prodigy, Stone Cold classic from the Prodigy. People around me were just laughing and dancing and enjoying that. Alfie, of course, you mentioned Alexis being the True Grit Women's Champion.
Yep.
Alfie, the title Women's Champion. This was a champion versus champion match. Promo versus promo. Off the record.
under the radar.
Yeah, and under a low key champion v champion match. And great. I mean, I'm very noisy in my love of Alexis Falcon. She was in the main event scene for Spirit Wrestling, which I always bang on about whenever I see anyone. They only did 2 shows, but they were 2 amazing shows. And it's such a shame that we lost that venue because that was going to be great. The first headline, the first main event for that was Alexis versus Brady.
Yeah,
it was just brilliant. It was great. So she's been a top one for me. And obviously, she was out injured for quite a while. We didn't see her. And since she's got to True Grit, I always sort of say to her, like, thanks so much. Like, it's so good having you back. Like, so good. That Disney entrance, just every single time.
Just on point, man. Like, so it says the entrance, the video, the music, the song. Just, like I said, there's few people out there. There's a lot of great people out there. There's a lot of great characters. There's very few people have got the character as nailed on as perfectly as Alexis Falcon. You know, it's just, there is no weak link, there's no chinks in the armor, there's no kryptonite. It's just everything is 100%, and she's just the embodiment of just wrestling.
In the wrong hands, a Karen-y Disney princess could be the worst gimmick in the world. It could be the most cringe thing. She just smashes it, and you believe it, and you love it, and you hate it.
Yeah.
And the crowd her crowd work was on point. Was it the guy near me shouted, "Disney adults are creepy," and she just turned and shouted, "You're creepy," and he just went, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah, she's got you there, man."
Don't try and heckle Alexis.
Yeah, no, she's She's top tier. And Alfie as well. Was that Alfie's North debut?
I want to say it was again in singles. I don't know about rumbles or anything like that, but I want to say definitely she might have been in a tag match here or there. I don't know, but definitely in singles. I want to say yes.
Her first chance to really get her character through and show who she is, what she can do. I think I love Alfie. I've done since the first time I saw her at Tidal. I've been lucky enough to chat to her a few times as well, and she's explained her gimmick to me about like how her and Alfie, her and DD are these sort of two parts of who she is and stuff. And I think she's phenomenal. And again, one of the things I find so rewarding in our scene is seeing people coming on and then seeing them over those few years when they just really get it. You can see things clicking, and you can really see them just getting so good at their craft. And Alfie's done that, and it seemed to be almost overnight. There seemed to be something. She was always good, always great, always entertaining, always knew who she was, but something suddenly went. And this match will show you that.
Yes. Oh, she held her own
toe to toe with Alexis.
Yeah, she held her own against, like say, one of the best in the country, one of the best in Europe, and Alfie was more on her level. 50-50. It was just it was a great match, and like I say, all the love to Alfie. I think she needs to be in more places. She needs to be acknowledged. She always brings something to the show. She's always something. There's various roads she can go down as well. So there's so many options. If you book Alfie on the show, there's different things you can do. It's never going to be boring. It's never going to be the same. So again, any promoter watching this, God damn it, just get Alfie on your show. For the love of God.
Build your women's division around her.
Yes.
Build your promotion around her.
Right. Yeah.
And she'll take it. She'll put the rocket ship on her and she'll drag you with her. No problem at all.
How do you follow this match? How do you follow these first two matches? I'll tell you how you follow them with my personal match of the night. In my taste, again, this is going to be subjective. It's not for everybody, but this is the shit that I love. I could sit and watch this for hours. It was George Hunter versus Liam Slater, teacher versus student, mate. To coin a phrase, this was pure wrestling.
It was. I know what you're saying with the pure wrestling, and that at True Grit they called it the pure grit rules, didn't they? I think, and things like that. It's 50-50 with some people, It's because it is. You do kind of want to know what you're watching. A little like this year's Super Bowl. There was nothing flashy happening. It was solid. It was grinding. It was fundamentals, and it was done properly. And that's what you're going to get with Liam Slater. And it's going to be done very well, and it's going to be entertaining. I loved that. For me, it was having George in there was like sprinkling some mild explosives in there, though.
Yeah.
You knew that you were going to have this really good, like really psychological match, and like you say, this is master and apprentice here. Really showing you how to tell a story, and it face v face as well. We should point that out. No one was a bad guy here.
Just a wrestling match. Just
showing you how that can work. But also flippy stuff now and again.
That's it. I mean, that was the thing. That was why it was kind of like it had my interest, because, like you sort of said, you got the Liam Slater element, which you got to get. You got to get. Again, anybody knows me. Liam, one of my favourites of all time, one of my top 5 guys. You put George Hunter in there, who is quickly becoming one of my top 5 guys. You put George on a poster, I'm automatically interested. But obviously, he's known for that high speed. The dynamicness, the flippiness, the agility, the strength. So that is the perfect kind of counterbalance to obviously the pure wrestling. I was kind of curious to I've never really seen George have be worked on the mat for a long time. It's always very much back and forth, speed. How is he going to handle this? Like I said, when he does get his feet going, when he gets that momentum going, you're going to get those little bursts of energy. You're going to get that excitement. You're going to get that adrenaline. But Liam's going to pull him back down again. Liam's going to get him back down to the mat, and he's going to work him. And we got that. We got those little bursts like, oh, George is. Oh no, Liam's got the better of him again. Damn it, he's back. He's got him on the mat. It was just, oh mate, I could have watched this for. It was just human chess. It was just fluid. It was water. It was just amazing. It was just one move after the other. It's like, oh, if I bend you this way, Okay, no, I'm not escaping. Right, if I bend you this way, oh, okay, now I'm out. Oh no, you got me again. Fuck. It was, yeah, mate, it was just. I should get hyped about this kind of stuff.
I agree. It was great fun. I could look around and I could see the people around me that weren't as into this sort of thing, didn't quite know what was going on. There was some, sorry, cat keeps moving on it. There was some guys that couldn't quite work out if there was a goodie and baddie and things like that. And you know, I sort of filled them in and let them know what was going on and where I could. And I think this one was one for the wrestling fans, really. And I think it was a great way of as you say, you don't see this from George Hunter. It was great. It was a great chance for him to say, like, I can do this as well, by the way, and it's just as good. You know, it might not be as like, ooh, but it is, ooh.
I tell you what, though, I say we've not seen this from George a lot, but we did see it against Trent Seven at the last Friday night pursuit match. Him against, I think George has taken it to the next level. He's evolved in the sense of like, he's not, you know, a one-trick pony. It's not just about this stuff. You take him to the mat, he will hold his own. He can wrestle. Yeah. No, yeah, I've seen him against Trent Seven now, holding his own, going from move to move.
Strong style match.
Yeah, and obviously just seen it against Liam. There's one bit that I can't remember what the transition was or how it happened. But, you know, like when somebody's laid on the belly and the person normally does like helicopter spin on the back and just spins them around a little bit, just as a little bit of a piss take. Well, Liam kind of did that around George's head. I was like, what the freaking hell was that? It was just like from one transition to another, but he span around his head and then just changed the hold. I was just like, dude.
I'm going to subscribe to the Patreon and find out now.
Just a split second, mate. You just saw him. It was just unreal. I was just kind of like, I just imagined that. No, mate. No, I saw that. It was just generally like gobsmacking. But yeah, but you know, as you can sort of see on the back of this match, it was just like wrestling. Yes. How do you follow? I've said this about the first two matches. How do we follow those two matches? How do we follow this match? I'll tell you how you follow this match.
I just want to. So I think I texted you, didn't I, and said like watching George tease that slingshot 450.
Yes. Yeah,
I love that, and I felt. I kind of felt a bit sad for the guys around me that hadn't seen him before, but I was just like, right, you now need to watch more of his matches because you need to see what he was trying to do. And when you see it, you will, yeah, exactly. You will stop breathing. Your heart will stop. Just, like yes. And as you say, just a quick, we'll just say props to George Hunter for just going like, oh, people think I'm flippy. Well, here's loads of other things that I do as well.
It's just amazing. The guy I remember.
How do you follow that match?
Well, how do you follow this? Is, you know what? You go from the wrestling to like, right, okay, but let's just get violent. Let's just start having a little bit of brutality. Let's get a door. Let's start knocking on that door. If the person's not going through that door, let's do something else. Let's get a barbed wire skateboard, which obviously means it was time for Scotty Rawk, the ultra-violent champion, against my hero, my hometown boy, Franco Fate. And it felt good to cheer him, mate. I wasn't the only person in the room cheering him. I was like, yeah.
I also really enjoyed cheering Franco.
Yes.
I really did. Really enjoyed cheering Franco. A lot of time for that man. Great wrestler, lovely person. And yeah, heel Scotty. Just...
Wow, was it heel, Scotty? I mean, was it heel? Because obviously the North fans were
chanting me to right abuse. He called me Specky, and I'm pretty sure he wears glasses.
Well, it might be because you were chanting Franco, but a lot of the North fans were chanting for Scotty. That's what I said. This is where that kind of clash kind of came in. A lot of the Leeds fans were chanting Franco. For once, because we can finally get to cheer him, because obviously, you know, bad guy regime at True Grit, woo, but yay. So it was all like, yeah, we can cheer Franco, so we're all cheering him. And then obviously the North fans were just like, man, it's Scotty Rawk, you know, we've got to cheer him.
I found similar in a match we'll talk about in a bit with Rhio. Rhio, I think, came down and like declared herself as a heel.
Yeah, she did.
But we still cheered her because it's Rhio.
Yeah, fair point. You always got to cheer Scotty.
About when you start getting into like hardcore wrestlers and stuff like that, they skirt that line, don't they? They're like, I am your goodie, even if I don't care about you, you know?
Yeah.
So it could have been, and with not seeing many other North events other than the ones I've been to, I'm not entirely sure of his character. But I enjoyed booing him and I enjoyed cheering Franco.
Yes, exactly. It was just a hard hitting as you would expect. You know, I like the fact before the match, though, obviously Tom came out, did his announcement thing, and he's like, look, this might not be your cup of tea. So if you want to go get a beer, if you want to go have a quick venture out before the intermission, that's fine. You know, it's a variety show. Just to give you a heads up, there may be
I enjoyed that.
There will be a bit of brutality. You know, we're not going to be offended if you get up and walk away, but just make sure you come back after the match, kind of thing. Again, just very clever, very good work.
Yeah, big respect for that, because it's not for everyone. And I think this was a relatively tame one. As far as hardcore matches go, but even then, some people just don't really want to watch. Yeah, I know. I'm saying it was pretty tame. That's because I'm a Rise. I've been to many Rise shows, so you know. I say tame. Please, Scotty and Franco, don't think that I don't understand what you went through with that match.
Knocking on the door at least 3 times.
Scotty with oh Christ.
The barbed wire stuck on his hand and stuff like that as well. He's trying to get the freaking skateboard off. And
It wasn't. It wasn't like you said to me the other day. It's not ballet.
Yes,
this definitely wasn't ballet. But
no,
I think I respect that, and because I'm not a big fan of hardcore. I'm not a big fan of the violent ones. He says, having just said he'd been to loads of Rise shows, but you know,
you go for the articles.
Well, I go to the Brood shows, to be fair, that aren't that bad. I've been to some of the deathmatch shows, and it's a different breed there. Anyway, we can go into that we'll go into that another time. But I rate that. I rate saying, like, look, no shame. If you don't like the bloody stuff, it's fine. You crack on. No one's gonna shame you for that.
No.
Yeah, really rated that.
But yeah, this match was, like I said, Scotty. I've missed seeing Scotty as well. I put this out on socials the other day. Like, obviously, used to see, you know, former title champion. You just got to see him at title quite a lot. Got to see him back in the 1PW days when I went there, kind of thing. So I've seen him at True Grit a few times. The few times he's been there. So I've missed seeing Scotty do his thing. Big fan of Scotty Rawk. You know, I like to say I wanted to copyright the hashtag Scotty is awesome. But yeah, to see him, but. And on any other day, you know, Scotty's getting my cheers, Scotty's getting my backing, but not against Franco.
Franco Fate, yeah.
Fate. What a guy.
Yeah. And it worked as well. I think another reason it worked is you had the Scotty's a small dude.
Yeah.
But he doesn't play like a small dude.
No.
He's got that sort of Jet Marshall kind of like tenacity. And Franco is a big guy. So that just makes, again, you talk about simplicity of like, I know what I'm watching here. I can see what's happening. I don't need any explanation or background. Cool, nice one. Just sit back and be entertained then.
Exactly. It's a story that tells itself. You know what you're doing. It's just, it works. It works so well. You know, there was ups and there was downs. There was fighting on the rampway. There was fighting in front of the stage. There was fighting into the crowd. We mentioned the door. You know, the door got set up. You know, Franco tried to get Scotty through it, and third time successful. You know, powerbomb didn't work. Tried some Mikel, then he just picked him up and just ran at the door. And he's just like, right, I'm literally running you through this door. And then the door went, and everybody's like, yeah.
I think I could be misremembering, but I'm pretty sure you could after the second go. Like, they didn't let it get to him as well. They didn't let it sort of go like, oh, what's good? They were just like, oh, you know, this happens, and I could be misremembering, so please, you know, don't take this as gospel. I'm fairly certain Scotty just sort of went like, just do it, just go for it, you know, like just
fair play to both guys. Yeah, you know, just like you've got to go hard. And Scotty's like, yeah, you know, Scotty can take it. You know, he's a big boy. It's just, and then obviously, the jumping skateboard, you know, barbed wire skateboard, chair set up. It was everything you'd want. If you're a fan of those matches, it had everything you wanted from one of those kind of matches. It wasn't quite the WWE hardcore. It was the next level up. You know, it had a bit more brutality than what you class as a hardcore, but it wasn't a death match. It was kind of like that good balance of it was just, yeah.
It was great for me. There was stakes, there was danger, and there was plausible danger as well. You know, like when did Scotty wrap his hand in the skateboard barbed wire, or was it Franco? Yeah. I know Scotty at one point was trying to cut the barbed wire in the corner and couldn't cut it. And I was like, well, why that's such a big thing, you know? And then when I saw him wrap it around, I was like, oh, that's why, because this is now really unsafe. Like, I hope he's okay and stuff. And obviously it was, because they're professionals and they know what they're doing. But things like that, I was like, oh no, oh no, just the right amount of oh no and stuff. And then seeing the little thumb squeeze at the end when they sort of go like, everything's cool, you know, after the pin and stuff. It was like, right, okay, nice one. I can breathe now.
Yeah, we're good. We're not seeing a major incident, but yeah, like sort of said, they just got everything right. Like you said, they're professional. They know what they're doing. It was just spot on. Again, it was just an amazing match for me. I loved this, and it was the perfect way. I always kind of know whenever you see one of these matches on the card, you always know it's going to be the intermission afterwards, because like somebody's got to tidy all this shit up. So they'll always put it on as the last match of the first half, kind of thing. Give people time to clean up. So yeah, after that match, I was like, yeah, let's go stretch legs, have a quick drink, get some fresh air, come back. Right, okay. So now everybody's...
they were all over everything. All those bits of broken stuff that needed to go, they were all over it during that match to make sure everyone was safe. So yeah, props to the ring crew.
Oh, the ring crew again on point. You know, always are at North. Always are a lot of promotions nowadays. Thankfully, you know, that goes to show the level of British wrestling as well. Even the ring crew, you know, are next level now compared to maybe years gone by. They get in there, they do the job, they get things tidied, they make it safe. You're good to go. But yeah, so obviously after that, everybody kind of wants to chill. We'll take 10, 15, 20 minutes, however long the intermission was, just to kind of like calm down. But then you've got that risk of being like, right, we ended the first half of the show on such brutality, on such a high note. Where do we go from here?
Yeah.
Okay, I know where we go from here. Two of the very best ever, you know, in England, in Europe, you know, two people who I will go out on a limb and say have completed British wrestling at different times, different kind of, but they're both at the same height kind of things. Just maybe one's going the other way, one's that, but that is, they're both completed British wrestling. We are talking Trent Seven, you know, versus Rhio. Like you sort of said, Rio's Rhio. We're always going to cheer her until she comes, but she did try to get heel. She's like, fuck you guys, basically. You know, something along those lines, you didn't give a fuck about me before, kind of thing, or something like that. Just try to get that reaction. We're still going to cheer you. We're going to cheer both these people. This was just wrestling 101, strong style. It was just appreciate everything.
It was a slobber knocker, wasn't it?
Yes.
It really was an absolute slobber knocker. And yeah, props to Rhio for coming in and going like, I'm the heel, by the way. But it was quite a smarky cheering. I must admit, it was one of those sort of smart mark kind of like, no, I understand what I'm supposed to do here, but come on, it's Rhio.
Yeah.
When when we were cheering her and stuff, and I tried to cheer Trent as well, but it's Rhio. What are you supposed to do? I'm a northerner, and it's Rhio. And yeah, absolute slobber knocker. Just,
dude, power. Yeah, that's it. I mean, both of these, they're just powerful. They're just beefy human beings. You know, there's a lot of wallop behind the chops. There's a lot of oomph behind the punches. There's a lot of kapows behind the kicks. You know, you could have put Batman sound effects on this match, and it wouldn't have looked out of place. I would just be like,
hey, you're the guy who does the reels. You know what? You know your next quest. Get the bing, boom, bang.
Right. When this show drops at some point ever on North's, obviously I've sort of said before, and I wasn't able to really record any footage at the show because I was standing, and you know it was busy, which was great, you know. But there was always kind of people in front of me. But yeah, if I was able to make a reel of this match, there would have been Batman sound effects in it. It was just it warranted, you know. It's like pow. It was just like, yes, you know, worthy.
You have your assignment.
I'd have already done it, but no. Once it goes on YouTube, I'll screen record it. I'll do a quick reel and I'll put the sound effects in there just for shits and giggles. But yeah, Trent Seven. You know, I've seen. Obviously, we saw him at Pursuit. We mentioned the George Hunter match earlier. I still kind of pitch myself. It's just kind of like, you know, get to see Trent do thing. You know, he's done what he's done now. You know, he's at the top. He can be smart about what he does. You know, he can pretty much pick where he works, who he works against. And yeah, I think anytime you get to see him, it's an honor.
I know what you're saying. It's great that we just get to see him so much. I think he's Rise champion now as well at the moment. We saw him at Pursuit. and we saw him just the other day. And like you say, you pinch yourself sometimes. You go like, it's just Trent fucking Seven. You know, that's Trent. You know, right there.
They're just doing what he does and just looking good while doing it, but looking like he's having fun. Looking like he's having fun doing it as well.
Not at any point looking like he wishes he was the main event. There's none of that. He doesn't bring an ego. He brings presence and aura, and all of that you want from the star power. But he doesn't bring ego, and I love that.
Yeah,
but I mean, he's roster though, isn't he? He's not there as a guest. He's, you know, he's part of half the tag team champions, isn't he? So he's like,
yes. Which we got to obviously kind of pops up at the end of the show, which we'll obviously talk about down because I nearly sort of signed straight up to the North thing, you know, just to see the shows live in person on the back of what happened at the end of this. If I was probably more financially fluid, I would have signed up. If you've got the money to do it, you can afford to do it. Sign up to North's Patreon. Watch. Oh my god! But
I think this show has sold me on it. And I think I'll be signing up to that. I think I want to watch it. I don't watch much wrestling on telly, even our stuff that we go and see. I don't tend to watch it much on telly, but I think I'm invested in North. And if they're going to come back 2-3 times a year to give us some shows in Leeds, then that's enough for me to watch the stuff that's up in Newcastle and to keep up with the stories. That's I'm down for that.
Yes. But yeah, so again, as we've said on every other match, how do you follow this? You follow it with a little bit of cowboy action. A little bit. Dude, this match was just, again, so different to anything else that's been on the card beforehand. You know, it stood out. It was great. It was obviously tag team action. We had Emerson Jane and Ronan King. Obviously, Ronan King being one half of Vanity, but they're both doing their own thing on this show tonight. So yeah, Ronan's teaming with Emerson. Against the Cowboys, you know, the Cowboy way.
Where was Mick?
Yes, Mick would have loved this. He loves his Cowboys, you know. He was just, I nearly sent him a video. He'd be like, "Mate, you're missing out on some cowboy action." But dude, this match was just, I mean, I'll have to hold my hands up. I'm not too up on the Cowboy way, those two guys, but a lot of people are. You know, there's that whole chant going on. I think Dan started it. If I had a shout out to Dan as well, you know, he was vocal tonight. He was getting a lot of stuff going, you know, walking in
Amanda's Wonderland. Yeah.
That's it.
I don't know. I didn't know. I think it was Tom Shire wanted the other massive cowboy man. Big man size. I've seen Manders because he comes over quite a lot. Obviously, he goes to Pursuit a lot. I've seen him on there doing takeovers and things. I've never seen him wrestle. I've never seen Tom, but I knew what to expect. I'd never seen Ronan before. So I mean, we'll get onto this as well when we get towards the end. I don't know anything about Vanity. You saying that is like me finding out that they're a tag team and not like a stable. You know, I didn't really know anything about them. I found the start of this a bit confusing because you have the Cowboy way coming out to a face reaction. Ronan coming out to a heel reaction. Then you got Emerson coming out to a face reaction. And so I'd say I was a little confused. It's not like I was sitting there going like, I don't know what to do. I was just shouting at people, you know, whatever. And I think they managed to make it was a bit confusing and a bit of a gumbo of stuff going on, but it was pure entertainment. You know, you had the Cowboys kind of turning heel on us, kind of not. And you had people cheering for Ronan because he was saving Emerson. Emerson taking the joggers off and she's got her chaps on. She had the cowboy gear on. Just brilliant. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. And I think we needed that after the hardcore match and the slobber knocker. Yeah. It was lighthearted. It was a bit silly. But it was also not, you know, obviously I think we all know what I mean when I say it was a bit silly. I don't mean like, ooh, it was silly. I mean, no. A bit of brevity.
Pink chaps, man. You had Ronan in pink chaps, for God's sake. And he had a pink cowboy hat.
Exactly.
And he was working it, though, man. He made that shit look good. Sorry to Adam Bolt, but, you know, Ronan made this look good. And, yeah, like, so it said the crowd were right. Heel reaction, but, okay, so you kind of teaming with Emerson, so we're kind of going to like you by association. If you're all right with Emerson, you're all right with us. You're saving her. Obviously, yeah, the Cowboys came out to a great reaction, and then they kind of flipped it, and then everybody kind of got behind Emerson because it's Emerson, and then Ronan by association. Mate, Emerson is just again somebody I don't see anywhere near enough of. I want to see Emerson on pretty much on every show that I go to.
I don't know where she's based. Is she based around here?
I want to say Scotland. I want to say she's north
I
of the
thought
border.
she was a bit too far away from us to be a regular in the shows we go to. But I like that because it's nice to see different people, and it's nice to be able to look forward to seeing people you don't see much. I really enjoy that.
Yeah, so, it makes like North because it was her and Rhio the last show we went to. It was her and Rhio against I can't. My mind just goes blank, but it was just might be Will Cruz and Rampage. In fairness, I don't know. I'm sure it was, but either way, I associate Emerson now with North. So that's it. So it's just something to look forward to when North's in town. Fingers crossed, Emerson's there. Ronan Ronan's one half of Vanity with Judas Gray. Obviously, he was in the main event tonight, which followed this. But again, like sort of said, the whole match, it worked. It was hard hitting. It was fast paced. It was but then you had your little spots in there that were just silly but fun. Like, Ronan and Emerson doing the Bronco Bulls on the back of the Cowboys kind of thing, just having a bit of a laugh. And then, just being like, Cowboy sitting up and like, no, mate, not having it. The clotheslines, the hits, it was just, it ticked all the boxes and was the perfect setup. It was the match you wanted before the main event. It kind of got everybody back, smiling, having a bit of fun. And they're like, right, here we go, main event time. I'll say about having fun, say about being silly. Before the main event, we had a little bit of karaoke.
I text the Cavs in our little group and said, seeing Size Loaf singing "Dog Out of Hell" and singing along with it might be my best wrestling memory. It was amazing. It was amazing. Meatloaf has a huge place in my heart from my childhood and stuff, and so this was huge. No size pun intended. And also, we talked about Franco earlier. Being able to cheer Nathan Black and get behind him is absolutely lovely. I've never seen him be a face before. And for a man who I think I'm also outspoken about how much I respect Pursuit and what they've done for our scene, and Nathan plays a huge part in that. So to be able to get behind him, cheer him, and I know we show him that when we boo him as well, but it was good. It was nice.
It was different energy. I've always kind of said, I always kind of thought we'd obviously be true. It's like, I don't want to cheer Nathan, but after that show, I was kind of like, it did feel good. You know what I mean? I enjoyed it.
Before that show, I wondered how you could do it. But I guess you just have him, I think this is what we've said before, though, isn't it? About face characters are they're fine, but it's usually just the wrestler, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's usually just, it's not so much of a character, it's just them just amped up and stuff. So that's probably why wrestlers prefer playing heels. But it was lovely to be able to cheer him and get behind him and to have him involved in a story as well, and all of that. Big props to Nathan Black. Yeah. But he did sing one of my favourite songs of all time to bring in one of my greatest of all time.
Ooh. Wow.
Yeah, okay. Gene's up there for me. He was Rise champ when I started going to Rise shows, and I'd never seen out like it. He went by Sexual Gammon at the time as well. And this guy comes down with his pants up here, nipple tape on, and a dog collar. Never seen out like it personally. I'd never seen anything of the sort, and he's just brilliant, isn't he? When he just picks people up and throws them away, tells them to fuck off.
It's like it was new to me. I think the first time I actually ever saw G was at the North show last year, kind of thing.
Right.
And then obviously we saw him at the Pursuit show when he was in the 6-man tag match, kind of thing. Again, not somebody I've seen a lot of, but nothing but love and respect. He's got that couch. You talk about couches being on.
Check that man's socials because his promo work is amazing. Genuinely, just brilliant. follow him.
He's got it on point. I do follow him. I just don't scroll social, so I don't see anything.
Yeah. Make a point of looking.
Okay, I'll check it out. That's why him and Nathan work so well together as well. You know, they both got those mad skills. They've got that charisma. But we talk about it with Alexis a lot, kind of thing. You know, somebody who's just 100% nailed on point. There's no weak link. There's no flaws in the character. There's no flaws in the ring work. It's just G Money is you know, like the same as Alexis Falcon in that point. You know, he's just 100% on point. It's just perfect, and it's just like and if anybody was going to replace, you know, Leon Slater as North champion, makes all the sense in the world. You put the belt on, you know, Gene, and let him run with it. But his opponent was somebody I know I've been bigging up to you for a while now. I've sent you a few reels that I've done of his matches. I've just been like, oh, check this out. But this was your first time seeing him in person. Am I correct?
Yeah. Yep. The reels have been great. The reels you do are fantastic, and it shows you what his style is, what he does in the ring. But you can't project that riz and that aura. And I'm a massive Lady Gaga fan. So like, as soon as I heard that, I was done. And I was like, yeah, all right, nice one. But yeah, like I say, the aura. You know, this is a guy who I don't really know very well. Seems, please correct me if I'm wrong, relatively young, relatively new. And so you might be forgiven for wondering how he's got into the main event scene at somewhere like North. I mean, if anyone went in with any doubts, they didn't leave with any. Bloody hell. Yeah, phenomenal stuff. Absolutely brilliant stuff. A new favourite. And I'm looking forward to seeing him more. As I said, when I talk about sort of this show kind of made me want to subscribe more to North and to their Patreon and stuff. Judas takes a lot of the props for that. You know, I want to see him more. I want to see more of what he does. Seems to be doing some sort of like story interplay between him and Ronan, who came out partway through, didn't he? Like, is that all plain sailing there?
Yeah, well, that's it. Because I mentioned Vanity beforehand. You know, they were normally the operators, the team. You know, Judas doesn't do a lot of single stuff with North, hence why he was also he's their breakout star of 2025. But anywhere else, normally, it's Ronan and Judas. You know, the tag team Vanity. That's where I first saw them, was at the Second Pursuit show. It was Vanity, you know, involved in this mental, crazy, fatal four-way tag team match kind of thing. And the dude's just dynamite. His legs are powerful, man. His dude's just oof.
Whoa, yeah, those thighs, what that? Like, it looked like someone told him he skipped leg day once, and he was like, well, never again.
Dynamite, mate. Serious dynamite. It's just, and he's just, like I say, he's got he looks the part, he comes out. I'm just so happy, you know, you kind of saw what I saw, and you're just kind of like, okay, this dude is a future, you know, he's a main eventer. Just wait.
Easily. You know, there's this. I mean, I don't know. I'm no expert on wrestlers and how they do what they do, but it doesn't seem to me that he needs much more to be that main eventer. Just put him in the stories, put him in that mid card, and let him build his way up. So that let your fans get to know him.
Yeah,
and they'll get behind him, or they'll get in front of him and stop him and boo him and whatever you want him to do. There's enough there.
Yeah,
he seemed tweeny on this one. He didn't seem. I wasn't getting big heel vibes. I don't know. Am I wrong with that one?
No, again, I, from what I've seen previous on North, he always gets a good reaction. I think if there was any kind of tweeny thing, it was because Ronan was there. I think that kind of confused. That might have been a little bit confusing to a few people.
I figured he was supposed to be a heel. I mean, you know, he's wearing black and stuff. But I mean, if you come out looking like Paul Stanley, I'm not going to boo you. You know,
the star show. But
exactly.
I think that kind of may have been a little bit for some people. But again, once he got doing what he was doing in the ring, you know, people just react to him. People realise they're like, okay, yeah. And the thing with Gene as well is obviously, it was kind of very much a face versus face match, kind of like what we had with George and Liam kind of thing. I don't think there wasn't a clear-cut good guy, clear-cut bad guy. It was just two guys who are just in top form, fighting for the belt and just having at it. And obviously Ronan got ejected halfway through. You know, that was the thing. You know, Judas pretty much went full face with like, look, I've got this. I can do this by myself. You know, go away kind of thing.
That was it. That's why I was like, I mean, I wouldn't say confused, just mildly unclear as to if he was supposed to be a full face or full heel. But I mean, I've no problem with grey area characters or anything like that. It didn't ruin my enjoyment because that wasn't the story that was being told.
No.
That wasn't the story. The story was him challenging for it and letting us, the Leeds fans, see what he's about and see what he can do, and also helping to tell the story that Gene and Nathan were telling as well with the Woof and Size connection. That was it was a big thing for that. So it didn't muddy the waters or anything like that for me. It didn't just give me more Judas, like loads more. Let me get to see him coming down to some Lady Gaga at that volume and just then doing his thing. I'm a Judas guy.
Soaking it in, man, soaking it in. But Gene even said at the start of the match, like I think when Judas was being a little bit gnarly at the start, Gene called him on it. He's like, "No, mate, knock it off. You're here to show me that you are, you're ready. You're deserving. You're a main event player." Gene pretty much said that to him near the start of the match, kind of setting that tone.
Yeah, there you go.
It's like, right, okay, this is what it is. This is a proving grounds kind of thing. This is like, I will show to you by the end of this match, I am a main eventer, and I will take that belt off you at some point in the future, if not tonight.
If you want to start going sort of fantasy booking and what have you, I can see that. I can see him being the next champion. Or maybe not the next,
but definitely down the road,
soon as well. Like, you're not talking several years. You're talking like, we'll get a heel to take it off Gene. Judas takes it off the heel, that sort of thing. So I can see that.
Yeah,
I just feel like and again, I don't like you know me with my fantasy booking. I don't like to say like I think this would be good. I'm like I think this would be ridiculous, and that's the sort of things I text you about with fantasy booking. But I think if you're bringing him down to Leeds, and they know what they're doing when they come into Leeds. It's not just a show. It's like they want us to know things. They want to give us things, and this felt like they were going like, "Hey, look, this is Judas. This is your guy."
Yeah.
You'll be seeing him again soon, and I feel like it could have been a setup for he'll be your champion soon. I'm glad you're behind him. That's what it felt like to me.
Yeah, man, definitely. I agree with that. I think, like I said, it's just dipping the toes in the water, just introducing you to the next to the new face. But then obviously this, the champion retained. I think a lot of people kind of started stirring like, "Oh, we're going to get Nathan Black." I was expecting Nathan to kind of
teased it,
but no, they just talked it out.
He teased it, and it's what we expect from Nathan Black, innit?
There we go. You see, that's the thing. That's what he does so well at the minute. He kind of makes you kind of start cheering, or you kind of makes you kind of start to like him. He did it at the Rumble, with him and Holly doing the little thing. Was like, "Oh, Nathan's awesome." Oh, he's just eliminated Holly. Boo!
Oh no,
so, we thought we was going to get the same thing. It's like, "Oh, Nathan's an all right kind of guy." Oh shit, no, he's just ambush Gene. Okay, no, he's a bad guy. It's like, oh no, he's all right. They're just hugging it out.
They hugged it out.
I thought Gene was going to turn on him. Then I was like, "Oh, hang on a minute, are we going to get a total sort of switcheroo here?" But no, obviously then Trent Seven. Well, Nathan cut the promo saying that they should obviously stay together as a partnership.
He doesn't want the Woof and Size connection to break. He wants to keep going.
Yep.
And there's never been a double champion.
Yes.
In North. And maybe Gene could be that first double champion if they take on, Blood Fight Mountain.
Yep. And then obviously Trent came out. We just got face to face. We just got, oh, mate,
brilliant.
But it looks like that match is going to happen, whether it happens at the next North show or whether we get it in April. I don't know.
I suspect it's going to happen up North.
Yeah,
I suspect that's going to be up North. And again, but that's fine. It's a business. You've got to sell stuff. If you want to know what's going to happen, just subscribe to the Patreon. Exactly. And it's like, yeah, fair enough. Okay, I understand that. We can't have everything.
Oh no, I'm happy to deal with the aftermath. Yeah, have that match up in Newcastle. I mean, can you imagine if like freaking Gene and Nathan turn up in Leeds in April as tag team champs? I'll just be like,
Gene double champ.
Yeah. Nathan coming out with the gold as well in Leeds. It's just like, this is crazy. But to me, mate, that was just the perfect end, to the show. It left the fans wanting more. It got you excited for the March's show. As I said, you yourself included, it's probably got a few more people you know, hitting up the Patreon, looking into sort of being like, right, how do I watch that next show? You know, if it's not in Leeds, I still want to watch it. How do I watch it? Okay, that's how I do it. Right, okay, sign me up. I'm invested.
A lot of people around me, that was their first wrestling show as well.
Wow.
And I know they'll be back. The lad that was sat next to me, we had a right laugh with each other, shouting stuff and, you know, shouting abuse at wrestlers. And so, yeah, told him to come to True Grit, told him to come to the next one of these. Said, you know, even check out like Tidal, check out Blackheart. And yeah, there was a lad, seems proper ego, but this fella came up to me at the end and went like, this was my first ever wrestling show. And he must have been sat like just behind me, and it was like those heckles and stuff coming from you like really helped me like enjoy it. And I was like, right, sweet, you do it next time then. Like this is like because I've been that guy, like you sat there and it's like, well, I don't know if I should shout anything, I don't know if it'll sound silly. And then you do shout stuff and you sound ridiculous several times and you get over that.
But then the 8th time it gets a pop or it starts to cheer and you're like, yes, there we go. You know, you got to throw a few things at the wall
for the same reason. No one's judgy at wrestling shows. If you make a chant and it's silly and no one catches on, everyone will go like, haha, that was amusing, crack on, next one.
Yeah, oh man,
I love wrestling. I love wrestling crowds. And it was really nice to hear that people who this was their first wrestling show enjoyed it and were wanting to know where to go to more wrestling shows.
Just set the bar high, though. You know what I mean? If this is your first show, just obviously all wrestling
as far as spectacle goes. But I mean, I'm still saying that Tidal is still putting on great shows. True Grit at that level are unparalleled storytelling wise, and Blackheart for £5. You know what I mean? It's you're not going to get as many spectacles like that, but you're only going to get a couple of spectacles like that in Leeds per year. Exactly. And they throw a lot at it. You know they're throwing a lot at those shows, and that's fine, and that's fair enough. You're expanding your market. True Grit, every 2 months you're going to get a great pay-per-view, and you could subscribe to their Patreon or to Triller TV or whatever, or go to the York shows and see the in-between bits, and then every 2 months you're going to get a stunning pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we are so spoiled around here. You know?
But I mean, you mentioned it earlier. I'll kind of wrap up. But we mentioned Pursuit earlier. Again, I don't want to sort of be, you know, biased. I don't want to be leaning. I don't want to be like a spokes. They don't need me to hype them up. Then I don't need to be a spokesman for Pursuit. I don't need to tell everybody how great they are. But you can clearly see at the moment on like the North shows, you know, especially the North shows, you know, the massive hand sort of print of Pursuit on those shows. A lot of the talent that we've talked about tonight, you see on the Pursuit reels. You know, you see them doing their thing there, or you sort of see the videos on YouTube. And it's undeniable.
Do you see on their socials as well, not just the talent that's coming out of there, but the talent that goes there as well, to put on shows. And again, I know that's their job, you know, to put on these like classes and things like that. But people like Trent Seven aren't going to go to a wrestling school to put on a class unless it's good, because they're not going to go there and teach jabronis. They want to go and teach people that can learn from them, will take it in, and they'll go to Pursuit. And like Manders, he puts on his stuff there. You know, you got teachers, you got people like Lycos too doing fundamentals. You know, if you,
Leon still teaches there when he can, kind of thing.
Gene Money does Mondays. Gene Mondays. He'll have done this by now, but yeah, he does his Gene Mondays. Yeah, I agree. They don't need anyone to big them up. They do great as themselves, but I think it's hopefully they'll understand that we're just saying like thanks so much for everything you do to coach, to Nathan and to all the other people that work there and make it just so good.
Yes, exactly.
And the talent just so good. And it's great seeing those the people you see on reels now, you're going to see on shows next year. You know, their ring crew. You know, speaking of Evan Bishop was at North ring crew. You know, he's a man I saw on reels at Pursuit quite a lot. Now I've seen him wrestle. Looking forward to him coming back.
Nearly back from injury as well, I believe March. Hopefully, fingers crossed, this is, you know, as soon as I see a poster with Evan Bishop on it in March, I am going to be ecstatic. I'm going to be like, yes. And if I can't get to that show, I will live vicariously through anybody that goes, and just I'll be like, tell me. Because yeah, Evan's been missed. Evan's been missed. Yeah, he's awesome. So I'm hyped to see him come back. But all in all, this was the pursuit of happiness for me. This was just, yeah, it was an amazing show. It was North. It was great. Probably one of my favorite shows that I've been to, in a long time. It was just solid from start to finish. As we said before, every match is a contender or can be made a point of being match of the night. It's not very often you go to a show when all of the matches, depending on your taste of the variety, is a solid shout for match of the night. And that's what
someone told me that if someone told me Billy versus Ian was their favourite match of the night, I'd be more than fine with that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Do you want to tell me Alfie versus Alexis Falcon was your match of the night? God bless you. Yeah, I can totally see why.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. I don't think I have a match of the night. The most emotional was the main event because of the meatloaf thing and the clear story. And I love having a bit of a vignette after a main event as well. I love a bit of action after the main event. It just makes it feel more like the sort of theatre and the pantomime, that sort of thing. And I just enjoy it. But I don't think I had a match of the night, and everything was so varied. There was stuff for everyone. But it's just solid. From like you say, it was an amazing show. It really was. Thanks to the refereeing, thanks to Tom Campbell, and obviously the talent and everyone there. They just put on a brilliant show. I can't fault it, I don't think.
Shout out to Ref Katie as well for that stunner on Skinner. Oh,
yes,
that was beautiful.
How did we forget?
That was beautiful. That was an amazing stunner.
Poor Ref Katie got battered in every single one of her matches, I think.
But she's so good at what she does as well. She's awesome. I'm happy to see her popping up on a few more shows around the area as well at the minute. Because and again, an amazing referee, great at what they do. Vital to the show, vital to the dynamic of everything that happens. We love the refs. The Zebra Army is boss. But yeah, dude, thank you so much. I've just got really overly excited and. Just talking about it again, which I like doing with shows like this. It's just nice to look back and be like, actually, I thoroughly enjoyed it when I was there, but I'm now thoroughly enjoying talking about it as well.
Yeah, it's good, and that's I hope that gets picked up because that's what I enjoy with these. It's good, like you say. It's just like when we talk in the car on the way home. Yeah,
exactly. I was trying to say to you, I was trying to get you on. I'm like, dude, it's just, I so nearly bought your steering wheel just to hold while you was talking on it. But dude, do you want to let people know where they can find you on the socials if you want, or if just to encourage people to interact with you?
Do much. I'm on the socials and stuff, but just come and say hello at the show. I might not be in a very social mood, so I might kind of ignore you a bit. And if I do, I'm really sorry. But come and talk to me about wrestling. Talk to me about Gene Money. Talk to me about why he's the best in the world.
Meatloaf, Lady Gaga, or just interact on the left side page with Ian. Ian's very cool.
Yeah. Come and chat with us in there. Or you can find me in if you don't mind me plugging the True Grit Club Patreon. I'm in there quite a bit, having a chat with people like the famous Dan's Cans. JC's in there a fair bit. Dave's in there. There's a fair few of us in there on that Patreon on the Discord. It's really good fun.
There we go.
So you can find me in there quite a bit.
Massive shout out to Paul Stewart as well. Paul's Wrestling Art absolutely smashed it at the weekend for the love of wrestling. Obviously, they've just announced the Breaking Boundaries match. The poster's gone up. It's been announced. It's at the Attic. It's in April. We'll probably do a few episodes when it gets a bit closer. Talking about that with Paul, so keep your eyes peeled for that.
I'll be there.
Exactly. Sunday afternoon in Leeds at the Attic. A great show full of great people for a great cause. We'll see you there. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, easy.
Everybody else, though, thank you for watching this. Thank you for listening to us. Just explode with giddiness and excitement about North. But you know who we are. Hit us up on the socials. Say hi to my boy Ash on Instagram. Hit like, subscribe, share, comment, do the generic stuff we ask you to do. And just get your eyes peeled. Got some awesome stuff coming up. We've got Bolton Town Wrestling coming up this week. I've got Gung Ho Muttley on next week. I've just I've got Act 2 coming on again soon. I've just won some big ass tag team titles, so they are coming back on to talk about that. I've been speaking to Franco. He wants to come back on and do a part 2, so I'll have Franco on again at some point. So, dude, it's lit, it's money. So yeah, that is it. Thank you everybody for watching. Mr. Baker, you are just a living legend in your spare time, mate. Thank you so much. Hopefully you've enjoyed your second outing on Work the Left Side.
I always enjoy chatting with you. I always enjoy chatting about wrestling.
Exactly. But yeah, thank you for watching, and we will see you again very, very soon. And remember, always work the left side. Goodbye.